All right. I'm thankful to speak virtually for the CCCA. My name is Lou Caralla. I'm the head strength coach at Georgia Tech, and I'm hoping to relate to a lot of you with this topic. And it's called being more than a coach. I think there's a lot of times right now out there that there's just people doing a job, and it's called coach. It's not enough. You have to do more. You have to be a difference maker where you're at. And if some of you have heard this, I've tried to add some new stuff, so I'm excited to present about it. The purpose of this talk, one second. There we go. Okay. The purpose of this talk is, look, I'm trying to be more than a coach to you today. I'm trying to help your program. I'm trying to not hold secrets back. I'm trying to give you everything I have in my heart to make a difference in your life today. So that's number one. Talk about culture and leadership, how important it is, more important than probably anything in your program, and then how to relate and give usable points. You know, I'm not just trying to speak about my program and you can't use any of it. I want to give you wisdom. I want to give you insight. I want to give you experience. I want to give you stuff that I've gone through in a tough way. And then, of course, talk about the impact you'll never see, meaning there's a lot of times where you're going to be in a job and you're not going to be there for you don't know how long. But the impact that you have hopefully lasts forever. I just want to share my coaching experience because it means absolutely nothing to the next job. So you can see it. I'm not going to have to read it to you, but I've had the opportunity to be a head strength coach at four different schools in 5 years, which is, you know, not by choice, but there's a lot of things that goes into that with experience and great insight on how to handle kids and just different situations and being the new guy all the time. But the point is, when you come into a room and you're the only new person on staff, what happens? Do you swing and miss, or do you hit a home run? And I've had the opportunity to experience that multiple times. But if I came into a room and said, this is where I've been and this is why you should listen to me, it would never work, ever. You can't just be what you used to be. You always have to keep improving, and you always have to be there for the kids at this moment, because they don't care where you've been. First team meeting is everything. It is absolutely everything. You can't, your approach to this team that you take over is everything. How you approach it matters. What's going to come from you? Are they going to be excited about your approach? Do you come at them like, hey, this is how it's going to be, and this is what we're going to do? Or do you make it about them? Do you make it about their goals? Do you make them understand how much you're going to give to make them better? And I think after that, you just get them excited about incentive-based training and what they have to look forward to. You get them excited about what's to come, and you try to hit a home run. The interview, it is everything. This is the most important thing you can do as a strength coach, and not many do it. I don't know why. So I came up with about 27 questions on my own. Never heard anyone ask these before. Some of them are very basic and some of them dig deep. You know, how are you going to get to the kids if you don't know where they've been in their past? If you don't have a pulse on what they've been through and who their mom is and who their dad is, and if they even have a dad, or if their brother's in jail or whatever. But if you don't know what they're really going through, you're going to read the wrong body language some days and you're going to get yourself in trouble. So this interview has gotten me on the same page with our players so quick so we can hit the ground running. And yeah, it takes time. Yeah, it's a couple months because 25 minutes a kid, you got 100 kids on the roster. It takes some time, but it's so worth it. And I highly recommend it. These are just things that I do. You know, I've always thought when kids leave your weight room, and you have an opportunity to impact them in a positive way, don't take that for granted and don't waste that special time. These messages are a big circle of things. They're broad, they don't have one route, but they're every day. Team run, lift, doesn't matter. And it's either a story or a quote that I found, or a quote that I made up, or a mistake that I've made, or a flaw that I have, or a potential, you know, talk about anything that's possible to get through to your team. And I find that if you talk about being a strength coach, you separate the word strength and you separate the word coach. Because if you don't have strength for your players in their weakest moments, you're not their coach. Leading the workouts and being the message. I think this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to say like, hey, you need to do this. I'm saying this is what's helped me. I don't give the kids any workout that I haven't done myself. As hard as it is, as ridiculous as it is, I feel guilty if I give them something that I haven't tried. So, and what it does is I give great insight on how much I'm writing. Am I crazy? Is this too much? And then, yeah, I back off sometimes and I take it off. But if I don't know when they're going to hit that wall, if I don't understand that pain wall that's coming, I can't coach it with great insight. And I don't feel right in my heart. So what it does, I think it earns respect. I think it, I'm willing to humble myself as well. I'm not this Superman machine. I'm just a guy that's willing to humble myself in front of the team, even if I fail. Because what that does is it's relatable. You jump in a workout after you already did the workout. Yeah, you're not going to have as much juice, but the guys see it. And if you're not afraid to fail, they won't be. I think it's very important to be a vulnerable leader. And what do I mean? Like I said in the messages, admit your mistakes to the team. You're not perfect. They don't relate to perfect. They're never going to buy into that. So if you have flaws, which you do, so do I, admit them and share them with the team. It's helping them. If you have regrets, which I'm sure you do, go into a light that they haven't seen from you before. Share what some of your regrets are in your life. And I guarantee they start opening up to their teammates too. Because if you want them to be close, open the floodgate yourself. The daily extra, taking kids into your office one-on-one. And I'm not talking about like when you have a scheduled meeting. I'm talking about just asking them about their life, how they're doing, what's really going on? What's the body language thing? Talk to them, just be there for your guys or girls and not bailing the second work gets done. You're not trying to, I got to go. That's not what your job is. It's to help kids. And if a kid had a tough day, put your arm around them and help them out with encouragement. I think if you got on a kid in a lift, I think it's important you text them later, of encouragement, of why, of my point of view, and let me hear your point of view. Get back on the same page before the next day. And then just all the extra love behind the scenes. It's so easy to do, but it's so easy not to do. So just be careful with that. I think staff inclusion is a big key to my vision as a head strength coach. I hire a staff to be good coaches. I hire a staff that's going to relate to the players. I hire a staff that loves training and loves football because we're football strength coaches. That's who I am. And I feel like if I don't help them, if I don't groom them to try to be a head strength coach one day, half my purpose is failing. I have to make sure that they're ready for their next step in their career. So I let them speak to the team all the time. We go through workouts together. We feel the players' pain. They know where I'm coming from. If they have any questions, I'm open book. I give them advice. We meet every week as a staff and give value to each other of something that, is going on in our life. You can't miss that boat if you're a head guy. And it's so important. Staff inclusion is key. This is probably something people don't, think of a lot, but, why don't you have a periodization plan for your competitions? Keep it exciting year round. Do you do the same thing every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, year round? Is that who you are? Is that what you want to do? I mean, if it's me, which I'm presenting on, teams in the winter, meaning draft teams, 10 teams split up, they're all competing. Everyone's heard of that. But in the winter, you also grade the starving guys and the hungry guys and the satisfied guys. Someone's starving, and they need to be recognized with great effort. So award those guys. I think you give an Ultimate Iron Award, or whatever your logo is. You just say Ultimate Iron Jacket for us. Who's the alpha? Who deserves that single trophy at the end of the offseason? Spring ball, I think you open it up. Football's so serious. They're all worried about playing time. So in the weight room, just periodize what you're doing. Like have a staring contest for the competition, have a spelling bee, have a dance battle, have a rap battle, whatever you can think of, but still compete, just lighten it up a little bit. And then the summer, just do position competition. Who's the best D lineman of the whole D line? Who's the best O line? You know, all that stuff matters to them. And then lifter of the weeks, all that stuff. Award the best, like I said. Make them, you know, this is weekly stuff, position champions, and that's our lifter of the year. And there's a whole lot to look forward to in this program, and I hope you're doing that too. Team finishers and challenges. There's not one lift or one run that I've ever done without a finisher or a competition or a challenge. And they're not hard challenges. They're not physical. The last thing you need at the end of a ridiculous run is more running. You need something for them to think about, like, hey, do 5 jumping jacks, but don't count number 3. I can't tell you how many guys count 3 because they don't focus when they're tired. And there's numerous examples of that, but I think the mental fatigue is where you want to challenge them. I recommend doing a strength Twitter account. You know, it's so important for these kids to see themselves succeeding. You know, you have competitions going on. You have so many points given out and taken away, and post their pictures. You know, take pictures of every lift group, 4 of them a day, and award the lift group of the day. And there's so much stuff you can do, and the potential's kind of limitless with the strength Twitter. So that's our strength Twitter account. I hope you follow it. We try to keep it exciting, and we give the kids a lot. Creativity. Your job's to make them love the weight room. It's not to, yeah, of course you're going to get them stronger. Of course you're going to be serious a lot of the times. But if they don't love the weight room, what's the point of you? What's the point? You got to make them love it. Your job is to make them on Friday be talking about the workout they did that day when they're out with their buddies, and then Monday guessing and can't wait to get back in there. You know, keep them guessing, make it exciting, and the music matters. You know, we have ridiculous music we play in our weight room. It makes no sense to any of the kids, and they all put a smile on their face. But, you know, when we do arms, we play Let It Burn by Usher. You know, it's just, we let it burn. We have fun in there. Theme lifts, this is covering that too. You know, there's so many theme lifts. About every Friday I do a theme lift with the guys, and it's hard work. You know, some of them have a funny name, but it's ridiculous, unrealistic work because look, our schedule's ridiculous. Our opponents are very, very good. So if we're not trying to go outside of the box and be ridiculous too, I don't know how much of a chance we'll have. So I'll cover a couple of them. You know, let's relive it lift. So we go through a big circuit on the whistle from top to bottom total. We go through twice. And that was the entire lift, what they thought. And we brought it up. It took about 40 minutes, you know, and got on a knee just like we always do. They think it's over. You know, they're all slapping high fives, hugging. I'm like, all right, guys, it's not every day you get a second chance, you know, but today we have that opportunity. We get to relive it. So let's go do the whole thing over again one more time. And they're all looking at each other like I'm crazy, like, no, he's kidding. I start blowing the whistle on jumping jacks from the start, and they can't believe it. And we went through again, and they said it was one of the hardest lifts they've ever done, but it was more of the mental approach. You try to teach them the mental side of it. Don't get shocked when you have to go to overtime, when you thought you didn't have to. Just go. You know, the night lift, of course, is always my favorite. It's the end of the summer, celebration. We all dress up in costumes, but we keep it competitive. We go over ski in a bunch of different events. The tap out lift is definitely the most intense lift ever. If you and me are partnered up and we have to go through 14 different events together, the only way I win any of those events is if you quit. So if you don't measure it, I should say you have to measure it fairly. So if it's bar hang, it's easy to measure. You see him drop, you lose. 135 bench press on the whistle, someone has to stop eventually. Wall sit with 90 pounds on your lap, someone has to stop. Wall sit running a treadmill with 10-degree incline at 10 miles an hour, someone's getting off first. All this stuff, I could keep going, but these are our theme lifts. Got some pictures I want to show you of just stuff I'm talking about, so it's not just me on the screen, you're listening. You know, warm up, have fun with them, lay on their back in a front plank. This is more of the spring ball competitions where we're foam rolling them, med ball bowling. bar hang, tap out lift, like I said, someone's going to stop trap barn, arm wrestling, it's very personal to those guys if they lose. The coach is working out with the players, like I talked about. We had the fire department come in and train our team. It was quite the eye-opener for our guys of how much those guys have to do with how much they have to wear. The program came and they were great. Different theme lifts, you just, doing some MMA stuff, working out on the field, basic stuff. Are just over, Steve, how much time can you pull me in with 20 plates on as a whole defense, 100 yards? Just more stuff. This is practice right here. Coach said distract the quarterbacks with noodles, and we did, and we had a blast. We didn't have to have a blast, but we chose to, and it was a great time. These are all finishers at the end of the lift. This is, one of the great moments we had last year. A couple of assistants and me, just a great feeling. ESPN picked us to have a 6% chance to win and pulled it off at their house. It was a lot of fun. Just more work. Coach Collins pulled up a Waffle House truck in the stadium after one of our workouts, and no one ever saw that before. So that kind of got everyone going. This is the leadership retreat we went on, and I'll talk about that at another time, but it was more powerful than I ever thought it could possibly be. This is one of our teams. This is our 10 teams I talked about. If they go out to dinner or out to lunch together and send us a picture, they get multiple points. That helps their team totals. That's my birthday lift. I turned 34 this past year. So we did 34 sets of 34 of everything, and they did it with me and had a blast. Basic stuff. 4th of July blowout fest, had a great time. That's our staff for the summer, a bunch of interns and full-timers. Stadium workouts, stuff, night lift. That's our lifter of the year who's been through so much in his life and started crying when I told him it was him. Just one of our assistants, Ed, followed us everywhere in the night lift with a portable boom box. It was great. More stuff. And, this is the next phase of just this presentation. How do you get them to buy in? Well, you make sure you take their picture. You take their picture, make sure you have a plain white wall behind them to make sure they look sad and they don't flex in the first one. And then like 300 days later, after a vicious hour-and-a-half pump, make sure you have them greased down and they flex as hard as they can. So, we have fun with this, presenting this to the guys. Start cracking up. They just like seeing what they've done. It works. So if you're not doing that, I encourage it more. I think this guy looks like Ezekiel Elliott, and I added that. So we had fun with that. I thought he changed from Bruce Banner to the Hulk, and just had fun with it. All right. So these are things I'm very passionate about this second half. These are called no talent concepts, but they're more of just wisdom, and anyone can use them, nuggets that I hope help you. The first one is this picture. The guy standing at the bottom says, I see a number 6. The guy standing at the top says, I see a number 9. Well, you're both right. And just because you're right doesn't mean I'm wrong. But isn't that the problem with everything right now? Like, no one cares where you're coming from. No one cares about your point of view. Just why don't you just start listening to other people and try to see where they're coming from? Because I guarantee you get farther than just seeing it your way. This is something I have advice for, especially interns or GAs or guys working for free at first. Look, this is a picture, 2 pictures of one of the best interns I've ever had. Worked for free for me at Buffalo and moved to Atlanta and worked for free for me in Atlanta. And look at him. He's presenting to the team. The kids are carrying him. Why, though? Why would they do that? And why would they feel that way about him at the end? Well, it's because he had a smile on his face every day. He beat everyone to work, including me. He was one of the most positive kids I've ever been around. And because of that, we used him for everything. We made him the standard. We put a different kind of reward on his name. He was the best. So if any intern comes in, they know they're holding their weight compared to him. And I just think sometimes you don't think you can make a difference working for free, and you're completely wrong, because this guy changed a lot of people's eyes, and I love him. The memories, the joy. What do I mean by that? What's the point of you and your program? Like, what's different from you as a strength coach compared to any other guy with a certification? What's different between you and a janitor walking in, giving the players a card to follow for 6 weeks? They'll get stronger if they follow it. But that's not why we're in this profession. That's not why I do it. I would quit immediately if that was it. So the difference of you is bring joy to their life. Make this thing ridiculously exciting for them. What's their memory going to be of you? How'd you make them feel? You know, like, just think about all this stuff you're trying to do with your program and get them strong and make them tough and all this stuff. It's great. But just enjoy the time that you have with these kids, because it's not going to be forever. And the better you do with that, I think the better impact you have. Just be careful what you get good at. You know, there's a lot of kids in your program right now probably that are really good at giving 70% effort. They're probably really good at giving half effort. They're good at skipping reps when you're not looking. They're probably good at caring about what others think of them. But my point is this: stop letting people get good at things that ruin them. Correct bad habits when you see them at first. This is so easy to spot, but people just wash it away and let it go. And then all of a sudden, they're good at a lot of terrible things. So if you see them not eating right, if you notice they're not sleeping at all, if you notice they don't know their playbook, don't let it slide, because they're getting really good at that stuff and it's going to ruin them. Dream killers and excellence. You know, I think the closer you get to your goal, and hopefully you have a high goal of yourself, the more friends you're going to lose, because there's not a lot of people out there that are comfortable or really care about you that can support you that whole way. No. They're going to pull you down to be average with them. They don't want you exceeding past them. They don't want you to have a much greater vision than them. So be careful who you pick as friends. Be careful who you're with every day. Are they smoking? Are they drinking? Are they killing your dreams by just their negativity? Because it happens all the time in programs. And it's the be average with me mentality. That's where we're at. And I could go on and on about this topic, but my childhood experience, I got in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. And yeah, I had a big part to do with that individually, but a lot of it had to do with people I was surrounded with every day. So when I started getting a vision of myself, I started excelling. And guess what? I also started losing friends, or so that I thought they were my friends. So just be careful who you're around. If you want to make it and really go for something, you're going to have to lose some people. You can't have gray area in your program. It's the key ingredient to losing. It is the number one key ingredient to losing. You will lose your entire team. You will lose your entire culture if you treat the walk-on different than the scholarship kid. You just will. And maybe it won't be evident at first, but you will lose that team. Example, I'm at one of my head jobs. A walk-on and a scholarship kid go to Walmart. They both steal from Walmart. Well, what happens? The walk-on gets kicked off the team. The scholarship kid gets suspended for 2 days and back on the roster. At that point, our culture was dead, and I knew it. So no one's bigger than the team. And listen, your best players have to be held to the same standard of the walk-on. What would you tell your son? What do I mean by that? You know, there's a lot of times where players get overwhelmed. They come into your office and they're like, Coach, look, like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed out. I got so much work to do. I'm not playing like I thought I would. You know, I'm just upset, and I'm thinking about quitting. You know, would you have any advice for me? And my advice always is, what would you tell your son? You know, if you can't get through this time, if you can't get through this tough moment that you're going through, don't expect your son to. But if you can get through it, and you do a good job through this process of really overwhelming times, then you can give real advice to your son one day. And it's going to matter too, because it's in your heart. but don't try to do it the opposite way. Don't cut corners and then try to tell your son that you got to take the hard way. Absent during the struggle. I think there's a few people in this world that really have your back. I mean, like when you are completely helpless, when you have limited hope, when your phone ain't ringing and you're fired. I mean, you have limited people that really care about you. And if you are not those special people, to me, I don't need you around when I'm doing something well. I don't need you around when I came back from that hole and tried to do something even better. I don't need you then. And my example is this: fakeness is everywhere. You know, there's people that have talked behind my back in my career a lot. You know, they didn't believe in what I was doing, whatever. And I'm sure it's happened to you too. But guess who calls me, or guess who tries to reach out when they need something? Those same people that talk behind my back. So don't be two-faced in this profession. It's going to hurt you. And if you're absent during someone's struggle, don't be present when they succeed. Intelligence creates followers. I think, you know, obviously that's Bill Belichick, and they were at our facility for the Super Bowl a year ago. And I talked to him for a while. Thank God I got to talk to him. But my point is this: what's the point of your 4.40 if your football IQ is equivalent to a 5 flat? And I'm so passionate about that because there's so many guys that think that they got talent and that's enough. It's not. You got to know your playbook. If you want to run fast on the field, be the smartest guy on the field. And Bill Belichick, the reason I have him in the slide, he's the smartest coach on his entire staff at any position. He knows any position better than those position coaches, and they know it. So they got to hold their own, or he'll do their job for them, because he has followers because he's very intelligent. If you want followers, become intelligent in what you're doing. Earning trust is like running it's running a marathon, holding a glass vase, because it's so hard to keep, is that word. You work so hard for that word, trust. And then one small crack, one mistake, I swear you can sink the whole ship. You can sink an entire ship with one small crack, because it's got to be perfect. You can't go back on your word. You can't decommit from stuff. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And another part of this, how do you earn trust? Don't be a yes man. Don't agree with everything your boss says. Sometimes he might even be testing you. Sometimes you're just saying stuff to say it, seeing if you'll agree with it. So have an opinion. Be honest, even if it's something that people don't want to hear. This is the retreat that I was talking about. We went on a retreat last summer, and it was the most powerful thing I've ever been a part of with players. We took 17 of them to a lake, and we had a dialogue. We followed a dialogue, but the main purpose, I'm not going to go too deep into it. We opened up. We really shared everything we possibly could share about each other, to each other. And you talk about like how no one talks anymore, how people just text, look on social media, but they don't really talk. They certainly never open up. No way. So I think the leadership that comes from kids just telling their story, telling their pain, telling them what they've been through, you'd be surprised how many kids have so much in common, but they'll never know it because they don't talk. I think that was the point in that whole retreat. And it doesn't happen without you first. If you don't open up, if the head coach doesn't open first, you're looking for some gray area opening up, and you're not going to get much out of it. Be what you want to see. I think the quickest way to lose respect in this profession is talk about you take shortcuts, but then give advice about the long way. There's nothing more hypocritical of people that bark at kids or coach kids negatively, or, give them ridiculous things and then call them soft. You know how embarrassing that is as a coach to hear that? Like, I'm ashamed of stuff that I've heard in the past. It's embarrassing. If you're not going to do it yourself, don't talk to them in a negative way when they can't complete something hard that you haven't even tried. So don't take shortcuts and then give advice about the long way. Quickest way to lose respect. This is just a point that I want to make. You never know. This is a kid working out with me for Pro Day previously. Nate Cottrell, he was a great special teams guy on our team. Didn't play much besides that, but made the most of it. Made the absolute most of it, so much that he was a captain and one of the most favorite players on our entire roster. And it spoke volumes to our entire team, because you don't have to be the starting quarterback to be such a huge impact on this team. So we got everyone trying to be on special teams now. And you never know how hard you work with a guy. He might make it. He might get the call from the Patriots, which he has already. I don't know if he's going to get drafted. I don't know any of that. But I know I put everything into that kid for Pro Day. He's the only guy that stayed to train. And I tried my best. And he had an unbelievable Pro Day. Not to say anything about what I wrote him. He's just a great kid that you just never give up on, because you never know. Give everyone the same. Logo mentality. I think when you walk around a clinic, I think when you sit at a table with people with the logo on their shirt, GT, Michigan, Mississippi State, Alabama, Tennessee, Clemson, and then Defiance College. You're all sitting at a table. Well, naturally, the last thing you want to do is hear from the guy at Defiance. You know, who are you? You know, you overlook him. But people just listen. Sometimes the intern, the smallest guy on your staff, who you think can't do anything, has the best idea. I've experienced that situation numerous times. That's why I will never fall into that trap, because I include everyone in the staff meetings. Sometimes the guys that aren't getting paid and are there for 3 months have the best idea in the room. And if you don't use that, you are missing out with true empowerment. You can empower kids, and you never know what it does for them. Again, that's the intern, Jim Brophy, hanging out with our starting safety last summer, because he just meant so much to the team, because he put everything he had into it. My biggest insecurity, you know, I don't think a lot of people share this, obviously, but I am with you. So my biggest insecurity is I'm going to be a better coach than I am a dad and a husband. And you talk about being at work all the time. You talk about so much pressure on you to do a good job. Well, you tend to forget a lot about the job you're doing back here at home. And to be honest, I've done a bad job at times remembering that. So if I admit my insecurity, I will find a way to not let it come true. And until you admit your insecurities, yours might come true. You got to open up to yourself. You got to know why you feel a certain way. Until you can't figure out what yours is, it might come true. So just be careful. I think as strength coaches, we don't understand a lot of the times how big our platform is. Your goal as a strength coach is to be irreplaceable. And I mean, the job that you do, if it's for a year, if it's for half a year, it's for 5 years. Your goal isn't to be there forever. It's to be irreplaceable when you get removed. Have the next person come after you have a tough time winning the room because of how much heart you put into them. Invest in those players. You know, use the power of your platform to help those kids. You've been given the keys to their hearts and souls, and you can truly make a difference if you want to. You don't have to. There's a ton of coaches that don't make a difference in anything. Yeah, they got the title, but they're not using it correctly, in my opinion. Just use it for their heart, man. Coach those kids and be there for them. You know, I get this a lot. What's with all the hard workouts, coach? You know, well, I have experienced this firsthand. One day, you're not going to have a job. One day, you're going to be told you're not good enough, and I'm bringing in someone else. One day your faith is going to be truly tested about the journey you're on. One day you're going to lose a loved one. And my point is this: life is hard, and it doesn't get any easier if you don't go through hard things. So that's why we do all the hard workouts. Challenge your kids, train them. Of course, be safe. Safety's number one always in my mind. But if you can do it in a safe way, train them. Be smart, be creative, go out of the box, think, get out of your comfort zone, but challenge them and do hard. Life is hard, and they got to be prepared for it. Truth, the last thing anyone wants is the truth about themselves, about giving criticism to others. They dodge it, man. They dodge the truth every time they can. So there's two parts of this. Can you accept the truth? Maybe it's self-reflection. Maybe it's criticism from someone else. And then as a boss, can you give criticism, or can you give coaching points to people that are under you? Because if you keep watching the same guy make the same mistake and never address it, you're dodging the truth too. And guess what? You're going to live with that performance, and then you're going to get fired. So don't dodge the truth. It's the only way to make a difference. Be the first. I don't think people understand the power of this. Be the first one to retweet someone's tweet when it's just been sitting there for 5-10 minutes of just no one liked it, and you thought it was pretty cool. But don't fall into that trap of feeling like, yeah, I could. Be the first to retweet someone's tweet. Be the first to encourage someone. Be the first to call someone when they had a tough day, or text them. It's so easy to be the second person, or the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh to compliment someone. You can make a true difference in someone's life by being the first one to reach out. 4 quarters of thanks. I think I'll say this in every talk I ever give. These are my mentors: Aaron Wellman, Matt Bayless, and Ron McKeefery. They're all incredible coaches. They're all so meaningful to me in so many different ways. But here's the point. There's 4 quarters in a year. 3 months equals 1 quarter. If I go 3 months without thanking these guys for everything they've done for me in my life and my career, I am wrong. If I don't send them a book or a handwritten letter or a text or a call or a nice email, whatever it is, those guys know that I'm so thankful for them and everything they've done for me and everything they've taught me. Who do you think you are if you just get to where you're at, if you don't thank people for helping you? Like, that's the most selfish thing I've ever heard. Thank people that got you to where you are. Let's touch on being thankful again. I think people are very forgetful. They forget to thank people for doing right, but they never forget to blame people for doing wrong. And that's a problem. And I'll give an example. Your laundry people at work. You expect your laundry loop to be in your locker every day. You walk by, you probably never say thanks. Grab it, you go work out or whatever you do. But God forbid that loop is not in your locker. Oh, well, who are you blaming? Who are you blaming now? And the last thing you ever did was thank them, but you're quick to blame. Don't fall into that trap. Always be thankful. The cafeteria leaders are another. You walk by them every day and they serve that food, whether it's 6 a.m. or 4 p.m. or whatever. They got stuff going on in their life too. They're doing a lot of inconvenient things to make your life convenient. So don't walk by those people every day and not be thankful. My mom, she put all my pads in my pants every day I play Little League football, and I expected it. You just expect, and never thank until they don't do it. So be thankful for people that do inconvenient things to make your life convenient. What didn't you get? People always, there's so many blessings in your life, I'll say, and you just don't see them. You want more. You always want more, but you never look at what you actually have right now. You just think about all the countless blessings you have without asking. And I think if more people did that, they would appreciate where they're at right now. Show me the Carfax. I mean, it's this is a comparison I make with athletes. There's a Carfax commercial. A person wants to buy a car, and he says, that looks like a great car, but show me the Carfax. Well, all these NFL scouts come in and do the same thing with athletes. Man, that kid's tape looked amazing. Well, show me the Carfax. And then they want to dig. What's he like? How's he work? Is he a leader? Do the guys like him? Has he ever, been in trouble with the law? All this stuff. And look, you have to have a clean history if you want to do anything meaningful. They're going to find out, and they're going to use the guy with better talent or equal talent with less laundry. So be a good person. It will always pay off. Mismanaged success equals failure. And what do I mean? So mismanaged success is the leading cause of failure, but well-managed failure is the leading cause of success. So if you don't handle success right and stay humble, you're setting yourself up to fail big and have a hard fall. But if you manage failure correctly and have the urge to get back, you're going to succeed. But don't get those twisted. You got to understand, you're going to fail and you're going to succeed. That's just part of life. But handle success right and handle failure right. You'll be fine. That's why I let the kids compete every day, because if you don't compete, you don't have another opportunity to make it right. So if you lost Monday, come back Tuesday and win. Or come back Wednesday. It's up to you. Complaining in the hamster wheel. What does complaining do? Nothing. You go nowhere. Negativity breeds negativity. And it's always funny to me. The guys that complain always find each other in the program. So whether it's on staff, whether it's on the team, it doesn't matter. If guys complain, they'll be in groups and they will find each other, because that's the only thing they have in common. So be careful who you say things to too, because I guarantee the person you complain the most to is also complaining about you. So just be careful, because that could hurt you in this profession. Love, here's what the word love means to me. If you don't go through failure, if you don't go through loyalty issues, if you don't go through hard work, if you don't go through sacrifice, if you don't go through faith, if you don't go through fight, you don't love something. So what does it mean when I say I love you? Well, it means everything. It means everything, because I've gone through all 6 of those words with you, and I can still say I love you. Because look, that's me and my wife right there. If we haven't failed over and over again together and didn't make it right, the only reason I make it right is because I love her. So if we didn't go through loyalty issues, because we went 3.5 years of long distance in college, that tested everything, and we made it. Yeah, hard work to make everything work in this profession with her following me around. Are you kidding me? Made it. Sacrifice. It doesn't matter what gets in your way when you love something. That's what I mean. Faith tested, fight, whatever. It doesn't matter, because you love it. So if you really love something, go through those battles, and then you can really say it. Be there for others. It's only a matter of time until you get fired. I've been fired twice as a head strength coach. I know exactly how it feels, in the sickening pit in your stomach of not knowing what's coming next for your life and your family, and everything you've worked for might not matter. Yeah, it's a sick feeling. So what do you do when you see your best friends in the profession get fired? And it happened this past year to both of them. I'm the guy that takes pride in helping people, because I know how it feels. I'm calling people every second I can. I'm trying anything I can to help those guys, because what it does is it gives someone in a really hopeless time some comfort. And when your phone doesn't ring when you're fired, that's the longest day of your life. Trust me. So if you want others to be there for you in a time of need, you need to be there for others. I think you need to learn from Kobe Bryant, and I'm not going to go into a whole speech about it, but I've never seen so many people say the nicest things ever after he passed away. But I didn't see much when he was alive. So my point is this: when you wait to compliment other people, you're missing it. Stop. Don't wait to the funeral to give the most meaningful speech ever about a person that could have used it while he was alive. So please don't leave a day outside in the rain when you could have used it to help someone today. I think toughness equals leadership. I think if you're always in the back of hard things, you're not a leader. If you can't lead others in tough moments, and the only times you talk is when the bullets aren't flying, you're not tough. I think your leadership ceiling has a direct correlation to how tough you are. And my advice for all the people that talk too much, keep your head down until you're tough. And until then, just follow. These are, that's my high school coach on the left. That's my college coach on the right. Want to stress this point. There's a lot of kids in your program probably that are in trouble a lot, or don't get it, or don't listen, or don't buy in. And your job as a coach is not to shut them off. It's your job to get through to them. So if you want them to find a way, you need to find a way to get engaged with them. You need to find a way. And if you can't, listen, if you've tried every resource you possibly can to get through to a kid and you can't, find someone else in the building. And if all resources have been exhausted and that kid still can't get it, then he's made his own bed, but it won't be because you gave up on him. That's what it won't be. It's not in your job description. So my high school coach, complete difference maker in my life. My college coach, he came to one of my college strength coach games. We won the MAC East 2 years ago, and that's him. You know, he's just there. He's there for me. And I feel like that's being more than a coach. This is a great picture. It's one of my favorites. It's all about attitude. It's all about heart. It's all about desire. It's all about not giving up. It's all about belief. You know, the guy on the bottom, he was so close to getting what he wanted. He was so close. Probably dug forever. But he gave up. He walked away. Look how close he was. But he didn't see that. So it's your job as a coach to get that gap fixed and make him see how close he is. And then you got the guy on the top. The guy who's not even close, really. He's getting there. But his attitude is unbelievable, and he doesn't care what it's going to take to do it. He's going to get it done. So try to balance that with your guys. You're going to have something special. I think being the underdog is not the problem in athletics. It's not. It's so easy to get motivated when you're an underdog. The hardest thing to do is get guys going when they're the favorite, when they're supposed to win by 20. You know, they see that. They see that they're predicted to beat them. The problem is the culture. Does it change based by opponent, or does it never change because your culture is a solid rock and you're going to train the same way regardless? Don't let your kids get comfortable on weeks that they think they're going to win. It's the biggest traps ever. Haters will see you walk on water and say it's because you can't swim. There are so many people out there just waiting to hate on other people. No matter what you achieve, no matter how great you are, no matter where you go in your life, no matter what you've overcome, people can make one comment and diminish the whole thing. People like to water down what you're capable of. So what are you going to do? The higher you get, the more they try to take your legs out. The more they talk about you, the more they are two-faced to you. Laugh about it. Keep going. They're behind your back for a reason. If you want to be uncommon, I'll keep saying it about Jim Brophy. He's one of the most uncommon interns I've ever seen. Start shutting down negative conversations and start complimenting others behind their back. There's not a day that I've known that kid where he hasn't been so positive and always encouraging others and always complimenting others behind their back and always a sponge wanting to learn. I got no time for people that are so negative, and just be positive behind people's back. It's pretty powerful if you haven't tried it. Like I said in the past, the job that gets remembered is the one you do at home. And I think too many of us get caught up in our job and think it's so important. Like, you're not going to get replaced one day. And this job's going to end at some point for all of us. And there's going to be someone after you and numerous people after you that keep going. So that's a picture of me on the left watching my daughter ride her bike for the first time. That's a picture of me in the middle doing pull-ups with my daughter in the backpack. That's me on Christmas Eve with my kids getting ready to open presents. Guys, don't miss this, man. Don't miss your family, especially during this time. I've had more fun and more time to just spend enjoying them. Don't miss it. Share the dad and husband you are. If you open up to your players about the mistakes you make as a dad and how it's not all rosy all the time and stuff that you struggle with. You know, if I don't say, how can I help every day intentionally, I'm not going to help that much, but I have to be intentional about it. So when I go home and I say those things to myself, I help my family a lot more. But if you don't share that with your players, what are they going to do when they're a dad or a mom? Share the struggles at home. Be a real example. Reasons for your dream. You know, if you got dreams of playing in the NFL or, all right, being a head strength coach, that's not enough. It's not enough to get you there. There's got to be multiple reasons burning behind your dream for you to even get close. So, for example, yeah, I wanted to be a head strength coach, but I knew I wasn't going to fail because of how much my wife sacrificed to follow me around. I'm not losing that battle. I'll do whatever it takes to find a way for her. So it's so much bigger than that. I want to help kids. I have a desire to make a difference in people's lives. And when you're in it for the right reasons, when you care about other people first, I believe you got more of a desire to win that thing and get to where you want to be. So, yeah, let's go to the NFL. Yeah, it'd be great, but it's not enough. You need a lot of reasons to get there. Impact you'll never see. Your time will expire with your athletes. Hopefully, what doesn't expire is your impact. And the job interviews they go on one day, and the husbands they're going to be, and the fathers and the mothers, and the self-driven principles they got in their heart, and the confidence they walk into a room with, that you have a part of. And you're not going to see all that, but I guarantee the one thing those players that I'm not with anymore always text me back about are the messages that I shared with them, of the values I tried to instill in them. Yeah, the crazy workouts, we remember those too, of course, but it's those values. You can't work on them being a better person and not such a better player all the time. Take more time to work on them as a person. Change your focus. What's it like to be coached by you? You know, what does it feel like? What you got to ask yourself that question all the time. What mood are you setting for their day? And I'll be honest, sometimes it's hard to keep a face when something's going on in your life as a coach. But you got to do the best you can to keep that momentum going in that room where those kids look to you. They look at everything you're doing. They watch you. They watch how you respond when you fail. What mood are you setting? You know, would you want your son to be coached by you? You know, or a person like you? Are you understanding? Are you fair? Are you positive? Are you consistent? Are you a different guy all the time? Are you negative? Are you loud and obnoxious and not fair? Look, I want my son to be coached by a guy that I'm trying to be myself. That's it. That's all you got to think about. Be an example through your journey. You know, I've moved 9 times. I've been fired twice as a head strength coach. And then the following head job, I was named Football Scoop National Strength Coach of the Year. Did I change anything that I did in the previous 2 stints? No, I just kept believing. I kept going. I wasn't that guy that turned around when the diamonds were right there. I just kept going. You know, if you love what you do, if you feel the purpose in your heart of why you're doing it, keep going. Keep going. No, don't quit. I didn't expect to win National Strength Coach of the Year. I never even thought that was a thing. So hard work pays off. No one tells you when. And just believe in yourself, even when people stop believing in you. Be an example through your journey to kids. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. What if you woke up today and the only thing you had left was what you thanked God for yesterday? And to be honest, I don't know what I'd have some mornings. I don't know what would be left, because there's some days where I don't say a word. But if I constantly see this, and now it's burned into my brain, so I thank him a lot for a lot. Don't miss that. That can change you. Obviously, I want to say thank you to my wife and kids, Lori, Marshall, Allie, and Ava, my kids. Without them, I have nothing, and none of this matters. Parents, obviously, I put them through a lot as a teenager, and I have a lot of respect for them. The more I grow older and be a parent, and how much they've actually done for me. All the coaches I worked for that gave me a chance to be their head strength coach. You know, Coach Collins, obviously here, Coach Leipold at Buffalo, I'm so thankful for. Coach Hudspeth at UL, and Dan McCarney, my first head job. So those guys are so thankful for all of them. Matt Bayless, my mentor. Aaron Wellman, my mentor, Ron McKeefrey, my mentor, and Neil Peduzzi, who hired me for my first full-time job. Without those guys, I have nothing. CSCCA, thank you so much for having me on again. I mean, it's the second year in a row, and I've always watched this clinic. I've always studied these speakers, and I'm just so thankful that you guys picked me to speak, and I don't take it for granted, and I'm so thankful that you had me. Current, former strength staffs, you know, the strength staff I have now, I love you guys. You know, the former strength staffs I've had in the past, I love you guys too. We've been through a lot. All adversity and mistakes that I've made. If I didn't have those, I wouldn't have anything to use and give to my kids. And then all of you that are watching this, I don't know who's watching this. I have no idea. But the investment that you're making, and I hope you related to some of this stuff. And I'm just thankful for you too. This is my contact information. That's my email I respond to the most. Those are both my Twitter accounts that I run. And yeah, I'm just anything. I don't have secrets. I don't care what I give you. I can send you whatever you want if you're interested. If it's going to help you make a difference with kids, if it's going to help you be more than a coach to someone, I got no secrets, man. I'm not trying to hide things like coaches do all the time. There are no secrets when you're trying to make a difference in people's lives. Isn't that what we're trying to do? So reach out. I'm an open book. And my challenge is just be more than a coach to someone, because you could change a lot of lives with this profession we're in. I'm telling you, you got the keys to the hearts and souls of these players and anyone else you come in contact with. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your players, and enjoy being more than a coach to people. Thank you, guys.